David had managed to keep himself out of the public spotlight for now, but the people around him were starting to feel the heat. His inner circle was catching backlash, especially his manager Josh, who had known about David's relationship with Celeste from the beginning. In fact, Josh had even pulled David aside at one point to confront him directly about how inappropriate the whole situation was. David's brother, Caleb, was also friendly with Celeste, and it appears that he and Celeste's entire family approved of this disturbing relationship. So, let's get into it. Now, this is something new I wanted to make sure I included in this video, because there is a music video that people are talking about that David created. And let me just unpack the situation for you. He filmed this back in January 2025, months before Celeste went missing. In this music video, you see David blindfolded. You see him wearing a shirt covered in blood. You see him dragging what it looks like a body bag, and it's set in a forest. Schooly Films posted 5 weeks ago, writing on Instagram, "We were part of the production team behind David's One More Dance video, a project that now feels different in light of the investigation surrounding David and Celeste." They write that in recent interviews, David spoke about his alter ego, Itami, this weird alter ego he has that does evil things, and how he killed Celeste in the back of his mind. His music videos are now being re-examined frame by frame.
I had the idea to kind of make this first music video introduce a character that I had been kind of ideating for a really long time. That's why you see him with the blindfold and the bloody shirt aesthetic and the bow tie. I'm really big into anime and I'm really big into manga. And I wanted to make my own manga series at one point, and I was writing a lot of poems and writing a lot of things for it. And a big part of that manga was an evil version of me named Itami, which means pain in Japanese. And he wears this blindfold, and he's basically an agent of chaos and kind of my alter ego. And the story of the manga went like I was a detective, and there was an evil version of myself that would kind of come out at random moments, kind of like Fight Club with Tyler Durden. And he would commit the crimes that I would have to solve as a detective. So like when I was as a detective, I'd be like solving murders that I'm committing.
As soon as the BTS footage surfaced on social media, it quickly went viral and sparked discussion on Reddit, where a lot of people are talking about David's case. I feel like Reddit might ultimately solve this. But, finally, a production team that isn't scared to speak up. And honestly, good for Schooly Films, because if I was them, I wouldn't want to be associated with this project, especially when they are talking about him acknowledging that he would kill someone named Celeste. And then what the coincidence, our victim's name is Celeste. But these updates are also starting to spark curiosity into David's alter ego, this Tommy character that seems to be violent. You guys may remember that he has talked about this alter ego in past interviews, and the way that he casually speaks about it is concerning, because I feel like he's like breathing life into this character, and then he's using this as a way to maybe disassociate from the really horrible things he's done, because how does he go on tour and live his life after committing such a crime?
More information is coming out about Celeste Rivas Hernandez and David. Private investigator Steve Fisher, who is looking into this case, releasing photos to the public of Celeste and David from a camera that he got out of the LA home after David moved out. In this post that he makes when releasing these photos, he talks about the timeline, wanting to know crucial questions. He says the last picture that he has of Celeste in this camera is from January 2nd of 2025. He said David was still using this camera because on January 8th of 2025, he was taking pictures at a video shoot. I talked about this video shoot. I was pretty sure it was probably the One More Dance video. Now I'm like 99% sure I was exactly right, because I found this post on Instagram of some of the production team that was working with David on making this music video. They say they made this video January of 2025. I did send this to the private investigator Steve Fisher, that way he can reach out and ask them if they saw Celeste when making this music video, but I think that they probably didn't the way they worded this post. Said that they were part of the production team behind David's One More Dance, a project that now feels different in the light of the investigation surrounding David and Celeste Rivas. And they said that they started to feel uneasy about this when all the information was coming out, and they saw recent interviews of David talking about his alter ego Itami. To me, I feel like this is just too much to be a huge coincidence. This private investigator is saying that there were thousands of photos of Celeste on this camera, and then all of a sudden, after the last photo of her on this camera is shown, you are recording a music video for this song where it's depicting a girl that looks like Celeste and also putting somebody in the back of a trunk in this music video. Makes me even more uncomfortable as this photo is on this camera, and it's December 30th of 2024 at 11:57 p.m. Literally 3 minutes later, on December 31st at 12:01 a.m., David takes a picture of his hand with this. What makes this even weirder is the fact that 3 days after he filmed this creepy music video, he was live streaming and showing his streamers the, I mean, I really just don't get what in the world is this.
This person asked, "Where's Celeste's phone?" Sam writes, "I bet David has it because all her stuff got deleted." Somebody said he probably bought it, so it's his shaking my head. Somebody else asked, right, like, where did it last ping? I just don't understand how he said that. She was just another fan, but yet there's multiple photos of them together. There's a reason why Hollywood stars always seem to walk away from scandals untouched. It is scary how much control David had over this young girl. I mean, it makes sense because she's 13 years old, 14 years old, living in Los Angeles. There's no way someone could survive on their own that way. So he controlled where she lived, probably what she wore, because she was always wearing that Gap sweatshirt, and probably who she communicated to, and I do wonder how long her phone was on for, and if he ever potentially used her phone to communicate to her family. This headline says that David's brother and manager are receiving some backlash. After this video went viral, officials have not confirmed any new suspects, but recent discoveries have shifted focus towards individuals within David's close circle, in particular his brother, Caleb Burke, and his manager, Josh Marshall. The case is getting even more attention after a new video appeared online showing Celeste backstage at one of David's shows in August, which doesn't really add up with the timeline if her body was left in late July. Observers noted that she was seen in the same outfit later on, right next to David's brother, Caleb. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind that Josh, his manager, was probably fully aware of what he was up to. I'm sure David's brother knew. I wonder if David's parents knew.
New video has been released of Celeste backstage of David's concert. And at this point, I really want to know when they are going to charge David with at least being around a child. Because in California, the age of consent is 18 years old, and also Celeste was a runaway child. She was literally missing. In this video, she's wearing Hello Kitty sandals, just like in her missing person poster. And here's the Crocs that Celeste has on her feet. And I talked about these Hello Kitty sandals already and tied them back to David also because her friends were leaking pictures out of text messages. And here's those sandals, and she's holding on to this Hello Kitty keychain. This is the same Hello Kitty keychain that David can be seen in this TikTok video wearing on his pants. This is literally just like a week after this person is saying that they caught this video of Celeste backstage of David's concert. They're saying this person that is with Celeste backstage is David's brother, and I'm going to show you a close-up of her face in 1 second. And they've even leaked more Discord chats between Celeste and David. And this one was dating all the way back in 2022, where she's saying, my parents are so annoying. They won't let me go see you perform. And he says, don't worry, I'll fix it.
This screenshot is starting to circulate online because somebody all the way back in 2024 sent an email to Josh Marshall saying that there's been talk about this artist David possibly having something to do with the disappearance of a 13-year-old Celeste. If that statement holds any merit, please do the right thing and take her home. So people were literally telling Josh not only what's happening, but also telling him to go and give that child back to her parents. To be clear, Josh Marshall sent a screenshot to David of that email when he received it. And it looks like David then sent it to one of Celeste's friends, which is why we have this email now. So we can confirm on record as early as like 2024, Josh was fully aware of his client's relationship with a minor. Well, that explains how Josh said that no one ever emailed him. They didn't. They technically emailed the David email. So I guess he's not technically lying, but he's also not giving us the full truth. Just because you didn't receive the email in your personal Josh Marshall inbox doesn't mean that you weren't aware of it. Especially when you are managing your client and you have full access to this David email, which is why he screenshotted it and asked David about it. Josh said, quote, I never received any emails. I had zero knowledge of anything and I don't live in California, trying to wipe his hands clean. But it is interesting that back in 2024, when that email was sent to David's work email, it looks like she was returned to her family right after that. Like 1 day after the email was sent, then Celeste was back home. So obviously everyone in her circle knew about the relationship, knew it was wrong, and when they got caught, they tried to give her back, but of course David wasn't done yet.
Marshall publicly denied this in TikTok comments, claiming it wasn't true. However, an alleged copy of that email was leaked tonight on Reddit. The screenshot circulating online is said to be one that Josh Marshall took himself. He then sent it to David, who then forwarded it to one of Celeste or Celeste's friends. Coincidentally, Josh Marshall was there February the 14th, 2024, the very first time that Miss Rivas went missing, which was also coincidentally the same day that the lease was signed on the property. And not only that, Josh Marshall was also around like 6 days before April 21st, 2024, where Miss Rivas and David are suspected to have gone to Six Flags with her cousin, Esmeralda. He ended up going with David to Coachella 6 days before that day. There's something there. Now we have an email. There is something there.
There's no doubt in my mind that Josh was fully aware of this situation, and so were David's friends like Neo or Aisha. Now, this DM is going viral because I guess David's friend responded to someone's story about Celeste, and she even said in this message, "Bro, this is my friend's girlfriend." They asked her, "Is there any way you can confirm she's 13?" And of course, Aisha was like, "Wait, what? What the F? You're lying." Now, Asia, she's tried to go and backtrack a little bit. Also, I don't know. Is her name Asia, like the country, or Aisha? Because it's got a Y in it, she wrote on social media. Since people are being super disrespectful, I will clarify some things. I did not know the girl nor her age. May she rest in peace, I've never posted any videos with Celeste. Only my friends Vanessa and Celeste Herrera, who are commonly being mistakas. So the victim here, everyone wants to act like a TikTok detective, yet can't tell the difference between, POC. Let's pack it up, y'all. You know, pretty convenient excuse for her. I mean, she acknowledged that that was her friend's girlfriend, so she knew about this relationship, and it seems like she knew that she was 13 too. I don't know why she would continue to be friends with David. I remember seeing a video of her on the tour bus right before they kicked off the tour, and they had been cool. So, I guess maybe, Asia doesn't care.
I'm gonna show you guys the eats before we embark on our tour adventure. We got the Bangin' Balls burgers, the Bangin' Balls tender, tour bus vibes, studio in the back because we making music called Tour. You know where it's at. You know what it is. Why am I talking like this? I don't know. See y'all in San Francisco. First show on the way. We're gonna get naked on stage.
This person writes, "If my homie had a young-looking girl around him that's supposed to be 18 plus, but we got to make sure she's hidden and my friend has money, but his GF is wearing the same clothes every day, I'm going to notice." She knew she was underage. If that post was in 2024, she knew she was a missing child and the age was on there and she kept hanging out with David. Explain yourself, not surprised. I felt like she knew something. They obviously knew everything was going on behind the scenes. How can Celeste be sitting there with David and his family in the audience, but their main friend group, the people don't know about Celeste and the truth? It's not really clicking. I mean, I am about to go and say, like, the parents maybe knew that everyone knew.
Where is David? It's a simple question, but probably a complicated answer. For the man who all eyes are on as the investigation continues into the death of the young girl found in his car, as there's no arrest, no named suspect, no named person of interest, and now a statement from the LAPD possibly signaling that no one may ultimately be charged with her death, why haven't we seen or heard from him? And what do we think he's doing right now? He has been keeping a very, very low profile. In fact, as far as we see, there have been no confirmed, verified public sightings of him in months. Where is he? Why haven't we seen him? In fact, the day after the body was found, he performed in Minneapolis to a sold-out crowd at the Fillmore. His social media presence has been radio silent too. I mean, if you look at some of his past posts in September, right before this news broke, this is what you have, and it kind of mirrors what was on TikTok.
And it's really disgusting how many enablers are not only on David's side, but also Celeste's own family. You guys know how David likes to use Discord, and a lot of his friends. Well, Aisha, she actually posted within Discord this weird message back in July of this year. It's like this anonymous confessions, like Google Doc form type thing. The questions say, confess anything. Have you ever cheated, hated someone, killed someone? You could let me know, but I won't know who you are. Really bizarre to write that, like, if you've killed someone. Maybe he, like, is she sending this, like, as, like, a subtweet to, like, David, trying to get him to, like, fill this out and admit that he had killed someone? It's interesting that she likes to play on social media like she did not know who Celeste was or her age, but she was clearly aware for a long time and possibly even aware of the crime. This person writes that Asia, Neo, and the other Celeste are absolutely disgusting. All these people around David only cared about the money they were getting from him. There's no denying at this point that the Gap hoodie the older Celeste was wearing was originally Lil Celeste's, the victim. The fact that these people are not completely blackballed at this point is absurd. There was a lot of confusion when it came to Celeste Herrera versus Celeste Rivas. And it is really disturbing to see, like, Celeste Herrera wearing Celeste Rivas' like sweatshirt. Like, was this before or after Celeste was died? How did you get the sweatshirt? And here's another picture where you can see she's wearing that same Gap hoodie. This person writes, "I knew Asia knew a lot more than she let off. She was aware her friend's girlfriend was 13 back in February 2024 and continued to be his bestie." Let's switch gears and talk about the Build-A-Bear situation because a Build-A-Bear certificate was found at David's home in the Hollywood Hills, but it was issued to Esmeralda. Esmeralda is Celeste's cousin who is an adult, and it seems like she consented to her young cousin, her minor cousin, having a relationship with David's Steve. The investigator posted on X that Celeste was last reported on April 5th, 2024. And at the home where David was staying, there was a certificate found in the name of Esmeralda from April 21st, 2024, just 16 days after Celeste was reported missing. Also on April 21st, 2024, David posted a video of him on a roller coaster. It appears he was at Six Flags. Maybe there's a connection between Six Flags and this Build-A-Bear and Esmeralda and Celeste. I mean, Celeste, to get into the park, you have to be accompanied by an adult. I wonder if Esmeralda was that adult for Celeste. Six Flags requires a chaperone of 21 or older for guests that are under 15 years old. So, who was there to get Celeste in? I don't think her fake IDs would have worked there. An adult male groomed her. David groomed her and committed these crimes against her. And I sincerely hope that LAPD and the attorney's office do not let this slide. Do not let
certificate that says Esmeralda. We don't know if it's Celeste's cousin Esmeralda or if it's the cousin that did the GoFundMe, but the date is pretty fascinating, and the fact that it's found inside his home. This is April in 2024. The certificate. Celeste would have been 13, and again, Esmeralda might have been about 15 or 16. But this likely puts Celeste inside David's home, doesn't it?
Well, it puts it inside the home, and it also, there was people aware of where Celeste was, and they're obviously in contact. They planned this out, and I don't believe this is just a coincidence. I believe that this is that Esmeralda, and David was there, we know, at Six Flags that day. Celeste was a missing person, and then shortly after, she shows up at graduation, and I think, there's some people pushing back saying, well, she's Esmeralda's a senior in high school. The point is that I don't think Celeste was the only person there for that graduation. I think there was adult family members there as well. And they should have notified law enforcement that Celeste is not, we've located her, and then they intervene and find out what's going on. But that didn't happen.